So we're gonna burn this other old candle. So it's about 20, 25 years old as well. As you can see, we're getting a good layer of wax drippings. Right now we've got white, purple, green. This one's kind of an off color. It's just white with some faded green inside because it's been sitting in a window for a long time. This is another one that's really kind of weird. See how it's previously melted and bulged over? So this wax is probably another weird mixed wax, obviously from 20 to 30 years ago. So we're gonna go ahead and get this kind of mounted up, maybe at an angle somehow, and see if we can get some more drips. And then after this candle's burned, we're probably gonna go ahead and collect all this extra wax. I've got a pile of wax over here, and we'll try and recycle some of the wax using a wax melter, and I've got some molds that I purchased. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and see if we can get this mounted up and get it going. So this particular candle did not want to bond with the other wax. So I'm not sure if it's a difference in the hardness of the wax, or maybe it's a different type of wax. It's definitely paraffin wax, but for whatever reason, melting the bottom wax here on the base, plus the wax on the candle, they just weren't bonding very well. So I'm wondering if that's just a difference in the wax types. We did finally get it to stick a little bit, so we gotta pay careful attention to this one when we burn it and start manipulating it, that it doesn't tip over, fall off, and catch a fire or anything. So we definitely wanna make sure this one is watched. So I will probably do a lot of manipulation with this one to melt it down a lot quicker, just for safety reasons. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing lit. All right, so as you can see, it's definitely a clear candle. All of that green colored dye that was in there is obviously not all the way through. So it was probably just a coating that was originally on the candle, which has now faded into oblivion. So we're gonna go ahead and let this burn up, and we'll see how it naturally pools on the inside, and whether or not it starts melting this outside. And if it does, we'll go ahead and start, either manipulating it with one of the little picks here, or with the blowtorch that we've got. All right, so as you can see, the flame is still burning on the inside. We've got some good pooling in there, but none of the wax is gonna drip. So we're gonna have to manipulate and probably melt down this wax here, because inside it's about an inch deep as far as where the wax is actually pooling, and the wick itself is actually probably about a half an inch. And let's see if I can show you here without my phone falling off into the flame. So it's pretty deep in there. So we're gonna try and melt some of this wax and get it to ooze out a little bit. Otherwise, we're just gonna evaporate all that wax, and there's not gonna be any drips from this particular candle, which means it would be a waste of time. So I am going to set you back down here, and we are not gonna waste any time with the little flame candle here, or the little flamethrower here. We're gonna pull out the big guns. All right, so here we go. All right, so we got a little bit of the flame exposed there. We tried melting this down, but it's taking too long, and I don't want to burn up all the fuel trying to melt that down. So we're gonna heat up my awl here, get it nice and hot. And we're gonna go ahead and see what happens. Yeah, this wax is like super hard. So as you can see, I'm just kind of pulling that all through, creating a channel there. I heat this up one more time. You can use a torch or your other lighter. I just like to use the flame, so I'm saving fuel. And once I do this, I'm just kind of trying to get both sides. And see what that's doing? That's allowing some drips to come on out slow enough that they're cooling and they're creating the drip lines. And so we're gonna go ahead and let this burn, see what happens. Okay, so here we are. We are still pooling in the center. So we gotta get some of this to drain out. I don't know if you can see this here, but we've got a lot of pooling at the bottom. Very little drippage, so what's happening is it's just kind of dumping out. And we're gonna take a heat knife, once we get one, and carve out all this extra wax so we can do our candle burns, or reclaiming our candle wax here. But for right now, we're gonna try and get this to maybe possibly drip down on this side here. And we're gonna do that by manipulation and heating up the wax here with the torch. Ultimately, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a gap here in the wall so that the wax will have a place to drain. As you can see, it's opening up a little bit, and I don't want the wick to go out. Okay, so next we're going to take our awl here, burn off some of that wax. Get this nice and hot. And then we're going to take it to the edge here and it should start dripping. There we go. I don't know if you can see that, but it is dripping. And as it cools, it just kind of layers up here. Let's see if we can get that tip a little hotter again. We'll do another side. There we go. Nice. Hopefully we can get this candle burnt down today, because it is kind of a trash candle. And then we'll start on some smaller votives and see how they do.